Our thinking delays, but there's a lot of faulty thinking. So cognitive behavioral therapy helps you narrow down how faulty our thinking actually really is. Okay? Actually really is. Without you writing down your thinking, like if I just say take the next 5 minutes and observe your mind, you'll have about 400 thoughts in 5 minutes about your ex, about the last drug that you used 5 years ago, about last time you had sex. I don't know. You name it. But if you don't write it down, you would forget. That's the human's job. The human's job is to forget. So therefore, uh, you got to start taking things apart and examining them closely. And it's like if my mind can't stay still, I need to examine why. What are the contents of my thought before you jump into the technicalities of cognitive behavioral therapy? I want you to write it down to see the contents of it. There may be unconscious motivations behind it, Sigmund Freud stuff, Eric Erikson stuff, Carl Jung stuff. But I'll that's my job. I will examine that. But I need you to write it down because I can't be there for all of you all the time. You get what I'm saying? Just sit, just sit, just sit. Just listen. Everyone will get to hear this again and again on my YouTube. Don't worry. So it's all right. It's okay. So again, I just want everyone to reflect how our thinking got us here, how our thinking deceives us, how our thinking really deceives us and makes us run away and tell us what we should do, what we could do, what we can't do. Okay. Uh, the best way is to be honest to me and dismiss the lawyer and just it's called free association in psychotherapy. Just blah, blah, blah. Just let it all out. Just let it all out. If I ask something, just let it all out. Have some wise fear, right? Just pretend I'm a chief judge. And if a chief judge asks you, you know, then you wouldn't lie. You wouldn't try to dissuade. You wouldn't try to tell me what I want to hear. Your job is to just tell me the truth so that I can just figure it out. Okay. All right. I think that's good so far to my recommendation. Do you have any questions so far based upon what I said? I don't want to give too much information and it's all disorganized in your head. I wanted to keep it slow, methodical, comprehensive, and effective.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
So, in terms of journaling, it seems like from what I've gathered so far, there's kind of like two kind of prompts. One is just writing down all the thoughts that come up so then we can see what the content is. And then from there we can move forward. And then there's another kind of prompt for journaling about your day. It seemed like there was like that we should be journaling about, how we live our lives, which I think is like a little different from just the ever proliferating thoughts. Those are kind of like two different levels of life, if that makes sense. Am I understanding that correctly?
For Jorge and Steve, I want them to trace their past.
Okay.
For you guys, sometimes I leave the door open. Maybe for you guys, if there's something egging right now in your life, for Christine and Leo, if there's something egging in your life, something sits not right, if you're unhappy, if you're stressed, if you have anxiety, and you feel the need to trace the past, you also follow the same recommendation, trace the past. So dear journal, as young as I can remember, since I was 5, this is who I grew up with, and this is what I saw my parents do, and this is what blah, blah, blah. Go on. Okay? So the past is one, and the current state of mind of every day, what's happening in one day, but every day you write it down. You got to take at least 30 minutes in a day because you got to have you time. The problem is that you guys are busy, and if you're not busy, you just create your own busyness and then you just call it busy. Okay, that's the other thing about me was that, I'm disciplined enough to stop, and I'm like, this is journaling time. I don't care if Joe Biden calls me for tea. I'm gonna sit and write. When I'm done writing, I'll get up and call Biden back. You get what I'm saying? All right. So that's what's going on. That's the importance of it. So this way, each person has a set whatever going on. Then, if I have problems, if I have questions about why a person's angry, why a person is frustrated, why a person is still sad for like 5 days straight, I'm gonna be like, 5 days. Tell me 5 days in the past. What was going through your mind that brings this sadness today? Because it's been 5 days since you've been sad. So I'm able to trace it and start seeing a pattern of it. Whatever that pattern is, it will give me insight that it's been sitting in your unconscious and subconscious mind. It's just kind of hanging out rent free in the background. And my job is to bring that guy forward to examine it and be like, well, this is probably trauma from the past. This is probably addiction from the past, or whatever the case may be. Okay.
I have another question, but I don't want to cut you off.
I'm done.
Okay. With this like past mapping thing, which I've done, like I put in some time with that through my own therapy work. One of the concerns that I've had is like fabricating stories. Like, did you have any thoughts about that?
Who fabricates stories?
Me. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
We do it to, number one, when we journal, we want no one to read it. We want no one to read our journal. There's a privacy issue with journaling because you're like, well, I'm going to buy a journal. I'm going to buy a journal with a lock on it. And I'm going to put the journal inside of a fireproof safe. And then I'm going to put that safe inside of another safe and I'm going to lock it. So if I die, good luck. Good luck trying to get through the journal. But you can... No one knows it's yours unless someone in the house knows it's yours. You know what I mean?
Oh no, like fabricating, like I could, it's like if you see like a past photo and of yourself, and you're like, I think this is what it was like, and then you're trying to recollect and like you're trying to remember, and you like talk to your parents, and you kind of piece together a story that like is probably true, and that will probably explain your trauma, but you don't even know if it's true, and then now you're potentially putting more emotional weight and meaning to it than it actually did. Maybe it was, maybe this particular behavioral pattern is due to a trauma that was so intense that you have forgotten yourself for the sake of protection, you know?
It could be. It could be.
Right? And so, like, how do we, like...
Okay. Uh-oh.